Hi teachers, here's a quick video to help support you in navigating the student management portal in the Raz-Plus program. This is likely the homepage you're taken to when you first log in. I just want to point out that I am in a training demo account, so some of the names on my class roster are very interesting because they are part of this demo account. But this helps alleviate us sharing some confidential information for our training videos for our students. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the main menu bar up here at the top. The first tab is the Classroom tab. When you click My Classroom, your class roster will be here, and you'll notice all of your students' names will be listed, and these are all hyperlinks to more information about your students. So for example, if I click Emmett Bolton, we'll see that Emmett has not done a lot of work here from this range of about 1 month. So you can filter that down to 7 days, 90 days, however you want, but you can see that. The other thing is I can see what assignments have been given to Emmett for the Raz-Plus program. They're all down here. I can see that he has the capability to listen, to read, and to take the quiz for this story here, for example. So that's how you can just kind of get an at-a-glance view. You also have option to view reports specific for that student as well by clicking on their name. The next tab over is the Reports tab. In the Reports tab, you're able to see kind of that same viewing, but for all of your students. How are they using the program and what have they completed? So you'll have all your students on the left, and you can see how many stories they've listened to, how many they've read, and how many quizzes they've taken. You'll also have information on interactivity and any practice recordings that they may have completed. That will all be here on the Reports tab. You can filter it by groups of students. So if you've established any groups, you can view it that way. And you can also select a specific date range for this information. The next tab over is the Assignments tab. You'll click the Assignments tab to view any assignments that you've assigned for your students. This is where you go to view them once they're completed. And then the last one is the In-Basket. The In-Basket is going to have any recordings that your students have submitted. So if you assign, for example, a running record, the recording of them reading that passage as well as providing the retell will be in the In-Basket. And you'll have a little notification right here to the right of it to let you know how many recordings you have to listen to. So we're going to head over to the Classroom tab, and I'm going to click on Class Roster. You have some more editing options here in your class roster. So when you get to your class roster, you should have two columns available, the General column and the Raz-Plus column. We don't have these other ones, so you won't have those listed because our district has purchased Raz-Plus. So in the General column, you'll see all your students are listed on the left-hand side. Again, they are hyperlinks, so it'll take you to that same information we saw earlier. You'll also be able to view from this page if your students are part of another roster. So if you have intervention students in your class or SPED students in your class, then you'll likely see their other teacher's name listed here. So for students, they log in with only one account, but they have access to the multiple activities that they're being given from other teachers if they have other teachers. The password is also available. Passwords can be a text password like this one, or it can be a single icon or a double icon. The other thing is students will have groups that you've created that maybe you place them in for reading groups for differentiation. And I'll show you how to create these groups in a minute. And you can change those it's very fluid. This next column here is the incentives on whether or not you want to turn those on or off. So what incentives are is as students complete work in the Raz-Plus program, they earn stars. The stars are kind of like points, and they can spend their points or their stars in I'm going to click this for you so you can see it, in the Raz Rocket or the Avatar Builder. So on the teacher end, you still can see how many stars students have earned, but on the student side, they get to essentially spend them to, it's kind of a motivator and encourages them to, complete the activities that you've given them so they can use them and spend them this way and have fun. So that's the incentives, and you can turn that on or off. And then this last one here is a student portal. You can pick between primary or intermediate, and it doesn't change the resources that are available for students. It only changes what the interface looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. By the way, these instructional support pieces down here are very good. So if you want to take a peek at that, you can. So here's Get to Know the Student Portal. So for Raz-Plus, this is what their portal looks like if you select primary. So you can see the icons are fairly large. It kind of helps them to see where they click. Everything's, pretty big. So it's very user-friendly and primary, in nature. When you click intermediate, you're going to see the difference right away. You can see there's more text now, smaller icons. So a little bit more appropriate, I guess, for older students. So that's all that changes is the look of it, but it doesn't change the resources that are available for students because you have control over that piece. So, okay, just wanted to point that out. So let me go ahead and head back over to our classroom tab where we were. And let's go ahead and move, or actually, let me show you how to create these groups. So let's say that I want Alexander to be in a different group. So I click his name on the left with this box here, and I click on the pencil. This is where you can edit. You can also send a message to the student, or you can remove them from your roster this way. But I'm going to go ahead and edit. So I can see Alexander is part of the STARS group, and maybe I want him to be part of the emergent group. So I would click emergent. And now he's part of both groups, so I don't want him to be part of STARS. So I will unclick that one. And now he's just part of the emergent group. I can also change this information for the password here. And I know that our students are going to be operating using single sign-on. So I'm not sure how the password piece is going to work. If they'll automatically be taken to their activities, they may not need this information. So I'm going to go ahead and save and X out. And now you can see Alexander is part of the emergent group. So when I view information or assign activities, I know that he's going to get the activities that are for this group. Okay, the next tab over is the Raz-Plus tab. Again, your students are on the left-hand side. You'll see that there's a level up and a reading room option here where you can make some edits. So when I click the edit one here, you have to select a student and then you can edit whether or not you want to turn the level up assignment option on or off. So what the level up is students are given text at their reading level, and they're given tasks for each of the books that are in this bookshelf for them. And once they complete those tasks, then they can level up to the next level. So students have the option also when they're reading to annotate. They have like lots of tools. They can take notes, they can highlight the text that they're viewing. And when they're listening to the stories, if you turn the listening feature on, students can click on words or highlight words and it will read those words for them. So they have these options with the leveling up. And then the quizzes there are also quizzes available for each of the books that are in this level up bookshelf. And you can also turn that feature on or off for your students depending. So the next one over is the reading room. So the reading room is where students go to read for pleasure. So with the reading room, they again have those annotation tools where they can highlight, they can stamp text, they can underline words, they can take notes, they can add to a word wall, they can write a reflection. So they have lots of options with the reading room also. And they can favor their favorite books and they'll load them to the top so students can read them over and over again. So you have some decisions to make really with the reading room, because you can decide, let me go ahead and show you this. You can decide how you want to customize that information. So I'm going to click on customize. So for the students that I've selected, I can filter it down here. I can say that, I want them to have only, 2 levels below their student level, their independent level, and maybe 1 level above. I mean, this is totally up to you because again, this is reading for pleasure, so you can make that decision. Or if you know what level they're reading at, you can lock it. So for example, if I know this student is a level J, then I can just say only books that are levels H to K should be available for them. So this is how you can customize the reading room. There's also lots of different series of books available that you can check or uncheck for your students. So you can see I have most of them checked because it's, again, reading for pleasure. I want them to have access to lots of different books. But if you know that you're in a literature unit, for example, for units of study, maybe you want to uncheck the nonfiction series for, those weeks that you're covering that. It's totally up to you. The packs and passages I do have unchecked because students can complete these reading packs over and over again and just keep racking up their stars or points. And so I went ahead and turned them off because you can assign them differently. You can assign them on the side. Then there's also poems and songs, there's early reading books. And just keep in mind that these books, it will filter them by just the books that are at these levels that you've pre-selected when you've customized on top. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And so now I've made my customization features for the reading room. And then over here, if you have, provided some kind of assessment or you're using iStation to determine what level of reader their student is, this is where you make that change. So if I know that Addie did a running record with me, or they had the ORF assessment, or I used my iStation data, and I know this student is reading at a level M, you can change it just like that. So now the materials they're getting and they're leveling up, assignments are all going to be level M books for them to be reading for their independent level. So that's where you can make those changes as well. Okay, and just to point out again, there's some great stuff down here for teachers to check out as well. Hope that helps.